So it's been a couple of days since I've ran my first ever half marathon, and I've learned a lot of stuff. Not just from running the half marathon, but also from training for a half marathon. So I decided that I wanted to talk about it and make a video about it. Starting with the mental limits, the physical limits, the 40% rule, and the central governing theory, or the central governor theory. Starting with how limits are mental and not physical. Most people set limits based on fear, past experiences, or society's expectations. But these are often mental barriers rather than the real physical limitations. What I mean by that is, for example, when I set my goal to run a half marathon, a lot of people told me I wasn't in good shape. I wasn't going to be able to do that. I have asthma, so people with asthma cannot run far distances. And in the beginning, I believed them. Really, I thought I couldn't do it, but I knew that my mental limit was stronger than my physical limit. I knew that because that leads me to these papers over here. This paper over here is one of the first races I ever did. It is my school run. I ran 3.5 kilometers, I think, in 21 minutes. And that is not necessarily good. It's not necessarily bad. But the point I'm trying to make is I used to run 1 kilometer in like 15 minutes. And now I run 1 kilometer in 5 minutes and a half. Which the point I'm trying to make is you got to start small to go big. So a lot of times people might doubt you, might feel like physically you're not capable. But mentally, if you turn on that switch, you can really do it. And that leads me on to my second point, which is the average person only uses 40 to 50% of their true strength before feeling exhausted. Okay, before feeling exhausted, your brain tells you to stop. It even can actually trick you to tell you that you're completely done. And that's what the central governor theory is all about. It's how your brain monitors fatigue, oxygen levels, and pain, and it signals exhaustion before reaching your true physical limit. The point I'm trying to make is a lot of times you feel like you've reached your limit, but you really didn't. When I ran my half marathon, for example, at kilometer 9, my body was hurting, but somehow I still ran another 12 kilometers. And that's because your real limit isn't your physical limit, rather your mental limit. Now, as I said before that, I started off by just running 1 kilometer every morning, because you got to start off small. And actually, before running, I used to walk. I didn't even run. And the point I'm trying to make is, from running 1K, I went to running 5K. From running 5K, I switched to then running a 10K. From 10K, I went to 21K. But the point I'm trying to make is, you gotta really start off small to go big. If you want to do something in life, yeah, you can try to just jump and start doing it, and it might work out, but a lot of times it won't. And I recommend starting small and then just building up, because those small steps could end up, really big. And that's something that I feel like it's extremely important to just understand. Now, I want to talk about strength, endurance, and pain tolerance. So, you can squat or deadlift about 70 to 100% of your body weight. But a trained person can lift 2 to 3 times that. Meaning, an average person with no practice can lift 70 to 100% of their body weight. So, that's already crazy. But someone that is a professional and is a trained professional can lift 2 to 3 times that, right? And then endurance, an average person can run 2 to 5 kilometers before feeling exhausted. But with training, people can run ultra marathons. And by the way, ultra marathons, what that means is anything more than a marathon. So it could be a 50K ultra, a 80K ultra, it could be really anything. And lastly, pain tolerance. Most people tap out at around 40% of their true endurance limit, right? That is called the 40% Navy SEAL rule, if I'm not mistaken. And pretty much, it's crazy. It really is crazy, because your physical limit isn't your true limit. And I thought that it was my true limit. But I broke out of it, and that was only the beginning. I continued training. I continued really just focusing on my mental limit, on my physical limit, and that led me to where I'm today. So I want to make this video really just say, if you want to do something big, for example, me, that I want to run a marathon one day, start with that 1 kilometer, then go to that 3 kilometer marker, and 5 kilometer, and just build on and just do baby steps. I started off with running at 3.5K, right? 3.5K. And literally, I ran 3.5K in 21 minutes. Now I run that exact same distance in about 17 minutes. That's what training does. That's what baby steps does. And yeah, don't give up, because you are capable of more than you think. Take those baby steps and try to reach that full potential.